Good evening, everybody. This fabulous bleary-eyed look is brought to you by an entire day of virtual teaching. I've been online staring at my computer all day. I had a virtual meeting after school. I had the ladies' night class, which was great, but I've been staring at a computer screen all day. So that's okay. I have been listening to audiobooks the past 6 weeks. I don't know why I was so resistant for so long to audiobooks. I've been a reader all my life. I love to sit down with a good book, but I've read less and less as I got busier and busier as an adult, and then all I was reading were scripts because that's what I do for work. So very occasionally in the summer, I would get time, or I would make time to sit down and read. I have no idea why I resisted Audible for such a long time, because it has been great. I'm listening to books while I'm doing dishes. I'm listening to books while I'm on stage painting. I'm listening to books the 5 minutes between classes. It's awesome. Anyway, uh, so fully recommend audiobooks. Don't know why it took me so long to jump on that train, but I've been listening to Eat That Frog. Is that what it's called? Eat the Frog. Um, Now I have to look because I'm not positive. I mean, it's a very familiar concept. Yeah, Eat That Frog. Uh, so it's a pretty. We're all familiar with the concept. We've heard the phrase before. It's you do the thing that you're most afraid of first thing and get it out of the way. Or the biggest project or the biggest problem, you solve that and before you do anything else. And I've been telling this to my students. I've been trying to get this into the brain of my youngest child, because it's really, really important. And it's so good to hear it reinforced in so many other places, not just this book, um, but in a lot of the other books that I've been reading about getting organized and not procrastinating, and getting your goals achieved. Uh, but for me, one of the biggest, hardest things has been doing these daily videos and putting them out into the world, because even though I stand up in front of kids who are a hard audience, the hardest audience is always your peers. And so, of course, the hardest audience for me is going to be the people on my Facebook page who are friends, people who were friends 20, 30 years ago who I've reconnected with through Facebook. Isn't Facebook wonderful that way? Um, but, you know, it seems sort of selfish and sort of silly and sort of narcissistic in my mind to, talk about something and put it on a video and post it online for other people to see, because there's that little back part of my brain. It's like, well, what have you got to say that anybody wants to listen to? But in this field that I have chosen, I have been doing it for a long time, and people keep reminding me, you do know what you're doing, and you do care deeply about it, so keep doing it and keep putting it out there. It does get a little more comfortable, although after today I sat talking to 30 icons at a time because they never turn their cameras on, and I literally have to ask for signs of life to get them to respond to me. God bless them. Um, this is actually when I don't like being virtual. I don't like teaching my classes virtually, but at least this year I have relationships with all my students, so I know the face behind the icon. So I know who I'm talking to this year, which was vastly better than last year when I had never met the kids and never saw their faces. And then this year, of course, those of them that continued on and took my second year class, they walk in and it's like, you're Alex. Yay, there's a face. I only get this much of the face, but there's a face. So that's nice. Anyway, so this has been thus far uh, honestly, one of the more challenging things that I've done, but I'm really enjoying it, and I'm putting more things up there. I've started putting. I mean, I was putting up my beehive inspections on Facebook in my personal page. I'll do it live, and mostly I was doing that for me. But I've actually had people comment and say, "Oh, that's a really good idea. I hadn't thought about that." So hopefully, hopefully, you all are getting at least a little bit out of this, aside from just being entertained by watching me be goofy, or just talk for 5 minutes. Um, if you are, drop something in the comments, share the videos with people you think might use them. I have a goal. My goal is to start building resources for theater educators, whether you are a formal theater educator and you teach it in a school, or whether you volunteer, or whether you run a church group that does it, or a Girl Scout group that does it, um, or anything like that. I want to be one of the resources out there. I want to build a community that is one of the resources out there. It's not just about me. Um, but I want to know more people that do this. I know so many people from across the country, so many talented and amazing adults who just selflessly give their time and energy to making theater happen for young people, and they deserve more. Um, they deserve not only do they deserve recognition, they deserve to have the means and the resources to make their programs happen and to make their shows happen. And so that is what ultimately my goal is in all of this, is try to build that, and create networks, be part of networks, so that we can all get connected to each other. Because sometimes we forget how small our world really is and really can be. And I'm sure we've all got some really good small world stories about theater. I know I certainly do. Um, I have students who are just really short versions of stories. I have students who have worked in different states with the woman who at 16 was the best stage manager, still one of the best stage managers that I have ever known in my life. Um, and that's still what she's doing. But my students left and went to college and became professionals, and then got jobs working at the theater that she worked at, and she was like one of the dearest people to me in high school. Um, my parents had a friend who our our whose daughter and I were friends when we were toddlers, whose younger sister ended up being in a program that I was part of 20 years later. It's just, it's such a small world, and theater helps to bring it all together. So I could tell those stories forever. And look at this. This was intended to be a quick one, and here it is, almost 10 minutes long. So if you stuck it out to the end, thank you so much. Um, give the book a try. Eat That Frog. It's short. It's not a long book. If you need a good inspiration for not procrastinating, um, do it. It's a good read, and implement some of those things that are in there, and you'll be unstoppable. So have a good night, everybody.